Hey guys, Cliff here, Curry Custom Cutlery. Look at this, we're in long format today. I'm going to do an extra long video, and what we have here is we have a bunch of pocket knives. I'm maybe not going to do all of them in one video, but I thought instead of doing short content where I'm trying to give it to you as fast as I can, I thought I would actually slow it down, maybe not super slow, but and get a little more in-depth about different items and different ways we handle different situations. These are pocket knives that are going to be going up for auction. I'm going to hold this here, so anybody that's interested could pull that QR code. He has auctions once a week. He's a local guy. He's got a huge surplus of pocket knives. We do some minor restoration work to each one, clean it up, fix the tips, and we do all that stuff. There you go. Super cool guy. And he's running auctions on Whatnot, and we'll put the link down below as well for you guys. So we just have a bunch of pocket knives, and I'm going to go ahead and go through them with you guys, and we can discuss them one at a time. Pocket knives to me are a specialty item. They deserve their own respect and care. And for sure, I did start out with the Wicked Edge, so I am familiar with how to, optimally, precisely put perfectly flat mirror polished bevels on. And what I find is that the 1x30 form factor with an angle guide is the best compromise. And hopefully you will agree. I found that you get more control, more precision. You get 90% as flat of a bevel, and you can control and adjust the bitiness and the sharpness. You won't get perfectly flat mirror polished edges, but you can definitely control and shape without, probably the key piece of that would be without removing too much material, like with the 2-inch grinders that are moving faster. This one's got a little bit of a thing going here, but we want to keep that needlepoint tip. That's what Kershaw leaks are known for, so it's primarily flat. And watch as I do this in real time. Let's try to zoom in even more. There we go. And I'll try and hold the camera on the knife. Okay, and then I'll come over to the other side. And I'm not even pressing hard there. There's one little, so where I see, maybe you won't be able to see it, but there's light reflecting right there. And that's where the lighting and everything is so important. There we go. I'm going to adjust the belt just a little bit. There we go. Okay, I readjusted the belt. And there's our final grind. I'm just going to touch it right down there in the choil spot. Okay. And there you have a regrind. Probably just do the first step on camera for everybody here. Let's zoom out. Probably just do the first step on camera for everybody. All right, we have little serrations and a chewed up edge. So I'll just go down and back. Steady pressure. I'm holding it against the against the angle guide. This is one of my favorite subjects to teach about. I just brought up the burr from the back without scuffing it too bad. Because pocket knives tend to be clumped into just regular knives, and they're more delicate. There's more precision involved. One of my favorite things to sharpen just for those reasons. So we got a little bit of a broken tip, and that should be easy to do. Cutting in a clean bevel on the back, flip it over, cut in a clean bevel on the front, and then I'm seeing how close we are. So I'm making decisions about whether to come from the spine or to come down. I don't want to elf shoe it, but I also don't want to lose that DLC coating. So I'm just going to see what we can do with it. One of the tricks to avoid elf shoeing is just to not grind only at the front. If you blend from further back, you'll get a nice consistent curve. And technically you are removing more material from the blade, but instead of having it just be ground up here, you do a nice subtle taper, and then it doesn't look like it ever had lost its tip at all. I'll leave that decision to you. I'm just sharing what I do with you guys. All right, happy little grind. So there's our finished grind right there. Hopefully that's showing up on the camera. I think that looks pretty mean, pretty clean, and I'll give it a wipe and clean. But let's just keep moving. We've seen a couple Kershaws already. Let's see what else we got in the box. Okay, here we go. Next one is a Kershaw automatic. Nice spring and shocker. It's got a broken tip. So let's go ahead and do the regular sharpening. Gonna lay it on the angle guide. Go down and back. There we go. And then we'll see how that tip looks. That tip's pretty broke, so we're just gonna come from the side. And we'll just drop that right in. There we go. And then once you get it, then give it a little cool down. And that broken tip is gone. Just like that, boom. That beautiful tip has been repaired. How's that? Another one for the pile. And we're back. Not that you guys would ever know, but I had a couple of customers come in. And we're going to just go ahead and resume. So a lot of these will have broken tips. So you can take a look and see if grinding will remove. You don't want the... This one's already curved over, so I'm not too worried about elf shoeing it. Let's just go ahead and walk through. Any slight recurve like this, you can actually, as long as you don't go recurve into the edge of the belt, you can go along it like that. You'll be fine. And I'm talking about not straightening it out. I'm actually going to carve out that little bit of a recurve right there. And then we'll come around over the top. And so I'm not just grinding here, I'm grinding the whole smooth curve. And I'm keeping it even so that the bevel stays symmetrical. This is a great tutorial one here. So come down through the recurve, up and over, and to the front. Down through the recurve, up and over, to the front. And see how I use my thumb as the pivot? There you go. So pull it along, and then over the top. Adjust as you need to. Keep it smooth. There you go. Beautiful. Sorry, I'm looking at my own work. Not holding it up on camera. Beautiful, beautiful bevels. This side's just a hair bigger. No problem. Just grind it back. Now they're the same. When you make one bigger, it makes the other one automatically smaller. Cool how that works, huh? All right. See what we got here. Little Kershaw. Cool. Little chipping on the edge. Nothing, quick little... So there's some chips here. You've got to grind past them. But with the light reflecting off the top surface, you can see immediately when that damage has been removed. Bevels are symmetrical. These are just the rough grinds, obviously. You almost bit me. Little baby guy. See, a lot of people say that these things are in the way. I've taken my top one off, but it really isn't part of the problem. If you wanted to, you could grind a little bit of this off right there. And that'll probably be the next version of the angle guide that we do, because we keep updating and improving upon the product ourselves. It's not originally my product. It was originally the angle guide that you get online. It's still the best because of the clip-on. It allows you to easily remove it and add it back on. But people have gotten used to it. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Ooh, Emerson. A little bit of corrosion. We'll clean that up. Separate step. You can see it's already kind of coming up into here. So we're not sure how we're going to deal with that. Let's just go ahead and just sharpen the bevel. Little flat spot right in there. I'm not sure if that shows up or not, but the light is reflecting right there. So that's the level of precision. When I say that you can do more precise work than even with whetstones, it's because visually, I am literally, 8 inches away with my eyes, watching the apex as it forms. Like there, boom. So if you have a soft touch, and you're paying attention with the correct lighting, I'm not feeling for a burr because I can visually see the apex form with my eyes. I'm just going to get rid of that little thing right there just because it annoys me. There we go. Just touched it right there. Okay. Another recurve. The only thing I'm going to say about some of these is the thickness. You can see how thick this is and how short it is. That's always going to mean that the knife by its nature is wider, and then the bevels are going to be wider. And if you want any sort of cutting performance, you got to bring that angle down, and then the bevels are going to be wider, but as long as you're at a low angle, you're still going to have the good cut you want. So I'm just going to hold it on the flat and slide it around. Hopefully this makes sense to anybody. I think the old term is inside baseball when you're talking about stuff only people inside the sport will understand. At the end of the day, you want a bevel that looks nice. And so this has been ground multiple times. There's still just a shadow of a different facet in there. And I'm just going to try to get past that. There we go. On both sides. Now we have a clean. I know it's hard for this to show up on camera sometimes. It's a clean. This is just the rough grind on all these. I probably already said that. Another little baby one. There we go. Just cutting in clean bevels. This one was a little worn down back here. And we are back for the final. Sorry, we actually ran out of room on the phone, so I had to clear up some camera space. And this is the second step. So the ones you're going to see me working on probably were ones, this is a broken tip that I had to come down on it. But a wonderful little variety. And we're just going to go ahead and do the refinement step. And so you're going to see a whole bunch of these were brokens and fixes and reshapes. Notice my swooping swirl technique there. A lot of Kershaw leaks in this batch. One of my favorite knives. Talk about a splinter picker. All right, we got to keep moving or I'm going to run out of video. For sure. Let's see if we can't get it done before the time runs out. Well, I guess I'm not racing on this, but I like the longer format. I just don't want to bore people, and I'm not doing it to just fill up YouTube with my content. Every product that we have on our website, we do have a big sale coming up this weekend, 4th of July sale, is that we've personally tested them, tried to find the best source at the best price, and then we try to get it to you guys. That's the whole point of this thing, was to get the best products, and a lot of them are custom products we've had created. Look at this little guy. I might keep him, or ask if I can keep him. Cibibi, beautiful little pattern Damascus. Nice. Okay, real quick, here's the ones we just finished off. All these have been reground, everybody's been sharpened, the tips have been replaced. These will all be up for auction on Whatnot. And I'll link his thing down below again. Anybody's interested in checking these out, please go to his auction. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Super nice guy, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with him. Love doing pocket knives and bringing them back to life. That one's coming home with me. Have a great day, you guys. Need any products or supplies, please go to currycustomcutlery.com. I'll see you guys on the next one. Aloha.